Woo! Get out the vote.
We already did that one.
Brothers Bistro, hot bites, bringing you tips to ensure your success.
So hey, we are here today to talk to you about something that we've recognized as we've slid into retirement. My brother and I were both lucky enough to retire a little on the early side. How old were we, buddy? We were
55.
57.
No.
Yeah, we've been retired since when? 2021?
Yeah, but how
That was
old
like 3
are
years
we
ago.
or how old were we?
Yeah, how old were we? We were like 56.
55, 56, yeah.
Yeah. And
It was right during the COVID years, right?
Well, it was, yeah, shortly
Just
after. Shortly after COVID hit, because we bought our property in Colorado in October or September of 2020, and then we both kind of retired there shortly thereafter.
Yeah, I think I retired in April of 21 or something like that. And Ken retired about the same time because there was this push to get everybody back to work. And we just decided to take a page out of the book.
Yep, we were done.
And so, anyway, what we've learned from that is that working gives you a routine, kind of built-in routine that you, when you get ready to retire, you kind of need to be prepared for.
Yeah.
So we thought this would be a great thing to talk about.
Yeah, it can be a little surprising when you realize because your employer most of the time has insisted on a routine. You got to show up to the office at a certain time. You got to wait. You got to work. You only get an hour for lunch. Whatever those rules are that they enforce on you becomes your daily part of your daily routine. And then you might want to stack some routines either before work or after work. But it's basically the bulk of your day is caught up by what your employer requires. What we both realized when we retired is there was no one breathing down our neck to do anything.
Nobody was going to tell me to get up and go to the gym or to do. And actually, it was a little more difficult for us because it was right during the COVID lockdown time, so none of that stuff was open. So you really were kind of stuck at home or left to your own devices.
Right.
And kind of had to rethink the whole thing.
For sure. No question about that. And so what we thought we would talk about today is kind of the daily habits that have, 4 or 5 daily habits that have really weathered the storm with us. We kind of come in and out with some of these things, but we recognize these are really good things, right?
That's right. Yeah, the first one that we started with was, when we think about this a little bit in chronological order as far as from the first part of the day to the last part of the day. So the first thing we usually do is get up, weigh yourself. That's a good check to see how you're doing health-wise. It's just a spot check. It's more about the trend and less about the actual number on the scale. It's really about the trend. And then try to get up and eat something healthy and exercise.
Right. And sometimes when we have health coaching clients, we sometimes recommend they only weigh once a week because if you're not careful, you can get a little distracted. You can get a little obsessive about the weight, as Kevin was saying, the number on the scale. It really isn't the big deal. What we're looking for is a trend that's going in the right direction. For me, my exercise in the morning is walking. I'm not a big gym person. I have tried to incorporate some resistance training, but mostly what I do is I spend an hour or so walking around the neighborhood. Then I get about 3 miles in, which is about 2,500 steps or so. 25?
Yeah, and I spend about 45 minutes to an hour at the gym. And the key with the gym is finding a place local that's convenient. It's open when you want it to be open. It doesn't have to cost an arm and a leg. And you want to make sure it has the equipment that's right for you. So if you need more instruction, you're going to want to make sure there's some sort of a class that you can go to. And if you don't need instruction and you're comfortable with it, then you just need a place where they have the weights and the benches and the different things that you want to use when you're there. And you take all, and it's really more about, we talk about this a lot, but it's about consistency.
Right, and the way to edge into this, if you're not an exerciser, the way to edge into any new routine is to pick a subset of that routine or a length of that routine in that something you can do every single day. So for me, it was, I remember when I was doing my resistance training at first, I was doing 1 push-up and 1 sit-up and 1 plank, 30-second plank or something like that. And because I picked it that small, even though that seems absurd, I picked it because I was focused on establishing the routine.
And if you felt good, you could do more. But you knew you were going to get the minimum in. So when I go to the gym, it's usually, there's a minimum amount of time I want to spend there. But again, have always been surprised at how much you can actually get in a pretty short period of time.
Right.
And you can actually come away a little sore the next day and you didn't really spend that long at it. I think a lot of times we talk ourselves into it's going to take too long to do this or do that, right?
True. That's true. And that's why you want to start with these really baby steps, something that you can be consistent with. Okay, so the number 2 thing is that we both agreed on was drinking, we want to drink a
Drink.
minimum.
Yeah, I like drinking. You like
We
drinking?
want to drink 64 ounces minimum, 64 ounces of water every day.
Yeah.
And there's lots of different ways to measure it. Some people put a rubber band around their bottle every time they fill it.
Some people have a bottle like this of water, and they drink so many a day, and they kind of keep track. They either write on it or they have a marking method or
I
something.
have a gallon container in my milk jug that I've filled with water, and I try and get at least half of that drank every day, and then I fill it up at the beginning of the day. So you definitely want to measure this, because what gets measured
gets done.
gets
That's right.
done.
And I would say on the drinking note, we were making light of it, but that's one of the challenges that we noticed when we retired, is that nobody was telling us we couldn't have a drink every night.
A drink of
Or
alcohol.
a drink. And so that's can be a challenge, because you're going to be less motivated. You're going to probably eat stuff you shouldn't eat. You're going to sleep in longer than you should. I mean, it kind of bleeds into a lot of these other things. So, truthfully, I think the routine of, on the weekends kind of a thing is probably the best principle.
And for me, the drinking alcohol is not necessarily a bad thing if you can keep it to one, but I struggle to keep it to one drink. One drink turns into 3 or 4.
And then the eating, right?
And then they eat it, and your body gets inflamed, and you're holding on to more water the next day, and it's just a whole raft of things. So you definitely want to keep the drinking for special occasions or the weekend if you can. And then even then, you want to do it in moderation.
How about meditation? What do you think about meditation?
I like meditation, but it took me a little while. This is a little bit like the gym. It was daunting at first, and so I would recommend, if you haven't done any meditation, find a guided meditation app. I've got one called Headspace. There's another one called Waking Up. Calm is another one. And I would think 5 to 10 minutes, something that's simple that you can do every day. And a guided meditation is a great way to start.
You might find yourself a little bored or your mind wandering at first, so keep your sessions short and just do it a little bit. Yeah. And then you may get to the point where it's kind of like the gym or walking, where you feel comfortable doing it on your own, and then you don't need a guide necessarily. Yeah. You just do your own thing. Some people like affirmations, another form of kind of like meditation, right?
Right, for sure. And along with meditation, you can even do meditation while you're walking around the block or walking on the treadmill. You can incorporate meditation in those things. Headspace does a really nice job of incorporating some meditation aspects even in physical exercise. And I would say that's true even with walking. You can stack habits, like if you like listening to books or listening to podcasts. That's a great time while you're walking around the block and you don't really have to think about it. You can have your mind engaged doing other things. It makes it easy to stack the habits.
Some people also like to incorporate gratitude. Right. Being thankful for where they're at and what's going on in their life and that kind of thing. And that kind of sets your whole day up, especially if you do it first thing in the morning. It kind of sets your whole day up for a good day.
Yeah,
right?
And I like my brother, I would probably put all these in kind of a meditative sort of a category. But you might want to do all these things. I know for a long time, I was writing down 3 things I'm grateful for every day in my journal. And I was trying to journal every day. That was one of the habits I was doing. So this meditation can be kind of part of that too. Some people actually like to write down their thoughts as soon as they get done meditating, the things they were thinking about, and as a way to kind of keep track and have their subconscious mind process.
How about sleep? I heard you just sleep all day.
Well, you can. I mean, just like the drinking.
Any chair, anywhere.
Just like the drinking, you can sleep as much as you want when you're retired. No one's standing over you.
Yeah, that is true. So I would definitely recommend that you have some sort of a list of things you want to accomplish for the day.
But we want to get some minimums in with sleep, right? We don't want to stay up, because you could also do that. You can also stay up super late and wake up, feel like you got to get up early and not get enough sleep. So how much sleep do we want to get?
I'd say 8 to 10 hours if you can. And I always thought I still think that getting up early is kind of key. You get your day going, get things happening. Especially if you're starting off with this exercise and meditation, it sets the rest of your day up. You can actually accomplish quite a bit.
True.
And otherwise, you can find yourself whiling away the day as
which means back to the sleep. You need to go to bed relatively early. If you're going to get up early, you got to go to bed early.
Or you're going to be tired all day or whatever.
Your next day's habits start with the night before.
Yeah.
And those are the 5 things for us: exercise, drinking lots of water, meditation, and sleep. And was there one more thing?
There's one more thing.
Oh, wow.
Find something that you're super excited about. Something where you can invest yourself. So some people will find this at their church. They could be in the youth group, a counselor. They could be an usher or something involved there. They could have a men's group or a women's group, some sort of a craft group or something local.
Helping out in the local school, being a teacher's helper or something.
And Ken and I have found a like in the stock market and in crypto and some of those other things. So we can kind of compare notes and look around and do different things and chat about that. And
The other thing that
Try
I
it.
found, my brother, he's eschewed this as superfluous, but I like to study the French language.
oh, that's right. Parlez-vous français?
That's right, that's right. Kevin refuses to do it, but I find it as a really fun way of engaging your brain, and it's something that takes a long time, really. I feel like I've been doing this a long time, and I'm still not very good at it.
You
but-
suck. That's why I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it because you're no good and you've been doing it a long time. So I'm never going to catch up. So this is a part of that. Start off with something you can do. So start off with, and he's actually used a couple of different apps and a couple of different things. And we've actually had a lot of fun with the language immersion, right? Even though I don't necessarily want to learn the language to be fluent in it or whatever, but it is a super cool way to see the country and to see different places.
The language actually gives you some insight into the culture of the society, and I think French is the culture there is pretty cool. We are talking about maybe going to Italy this summer, so we'll see that. I don't speak
Whole
any
different
Italian.
thing. Whole different thing. So anyway, definitely something to think about, and hope this was helpful. Right?
Yeah. Brothers Bistro,
Out.
here for your health.
And your heart and your finances.
Let's
and your,
make America healthy again.
yeah.